Hello everybody, it's your boy ThrillerNotHere back with a new video today, and we are going to be making a ranting video on this literal 12-year-old manchild on the internet, who wants to beef with me so bad named Brent based, more like Brent. He has been literally being an annoying attention-seeking wannabe kiddie on my Twitter page and tries to brag me all about the shitty quote-unquote exposing video as he literally tried exposing me about, because he and his boyfriend make the worst points on the video ever as they were very hypocritical to watch and made me lose a lot of brain cells, but we will later get into his actions with this video. But first let's talk about him in general. As you can tell, Brent and his viewers are literally 8 to 12-year-old kids who are very obsessed with children's cartoon shows, Nesquick and Happy Meals and other more types of childish shit, and this guy's fanbase makes me really cringe a lot. In fact, his content is literally all dedicated to that type of shit. He and his friends make stupid excuses at doing that shit, like saying, "It's a fucking joke, like am I laughing? Or should I really care?" No. In fact, he's very obsessed with SML and other types of plush videos. That's also another sign of him being a kid on the internet. No high schooler would ever still watch plush videos. And now let's talk about this guy's whole ass shitty artwork of trash, and here's why. First off, let's take a look at the worst ever rosy drawing I've ever seen in my entire life. It literally looks like a fucking bendy recala of some shit made by a fucking 9-year-old kid using Microsoft Paint. And he literally made that bullshit because he doesn't even have artist skills at all. It's like you spraying paint on someone else's work. It's like you even lack bullshit at drawing. And the worst render of this trash is taking a look at this quote-unquote furry drawing of this guy. It's not even a fucking furry at all. It's just a shitty OC recala wearing a shit jacket bought from a dumpster shop with two fucking tails that look like a shitty ripoff of King Ghidorah from Godzilla, and those horrible ass oversized ape-like hands that look like you injected steroids on them with those fucking shitty $6 looking ass knockoff shoes you ordered from a bootleg shop. That's what exactly his shitty render looks like. He also makes the worst ever death battle trailers I've ever seen on the internet. Like, just look at this whole pile of garbage, like literally all of them are dedicated to children's content and some shit. And let's take a look on one of them, especially that one he tried to compare me with Eric Cartman from South Park.
Well, that was idiotic. Off to hang myself. Off and left.
Honestly, that was one of the worst death battle trailers I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's like comparing a fucking fictional character to a Discord user. Like, it's obvious what the outcome is going to be, and your shit connections for this dumb matchup make no sense at all either. And the other thing of this guy's poor work of art are his poorly animated versus series Flame Wars, which the animation looks like it's been made on scratch by a fucking 9-year-old kid. Like, honestly, I'd recommend better shows like Debate Club or some shit, because they do a way better job at animating stuff than his type of shit. And other stuff besides his effortless shitty content posting daily 24/7. We will get into this guy's actions soon with this video, ranging from posting child pornography and drawing Rule 34 of himself giving a minor a fucking blowjob, makes so much fucking hypocritical points, admitting it that he manipulates people onto his side, and all leading this to him having the worst gullible fan base of 9-year-old kids ever. Now first let's talk about him backstabbing his own friends first, the same way how this guy betrayed me when I was on his side dealing with his enemies. So first off, apparently this guy had a friend of his named Duper, who was one of his 9-year-old kids standing up for this guy, and out of nowhere this man attempts to backstab him and ask his own followers for his real name for the most pathetic reasons ever. For this case, he said he will use his real name just in case if they get into a fight in the future, and in this case, it's got to be the man Brent himself planning to backstab his own followers. Imagine how much of a fucking pathetic friend he is. Like, why would you ever backstab your own followers? They always provide you support on your own side. He also backstabs his own gadgeted friend that he used to simp before, and I can't remember how he backstabbed him in the first place, and I gotta say, this guy's video has the worst hypocritical points ever. Let's take a look at his garbage video.
Where's my money? Yeah, you got money to pay for fake mustaches,
Honestly, that quote-unquote exposing video he made was one of the worst videos I've ever seen in my entire life. And speaking about the hypocritical points in the video he's also done, let's now talk about him distributing child pornography, aka CP. So now beginning with this dude actually posting illegal content such as child pornography, this guy has actually posted George X Freddy Rule 34 and other types of similar shit too. Beginning with the George and Freddy bullshit, since George is a fucking child at 10 to 12 years of age, this dude has actually spammed this shit before as presumably rating material. How pathetic he is. And funny enough, looking at this screenshot we see him actually admitting it to doing so. Let's take a look at reading the messages of this beautiful masterpiece.
Stay mad laughing my ass off, says the guy posting Rule 34 of kids having sex with robots.
Bruh, someone else sent that, and I thought it was funny to post it in the Son and David server.
You thought it was funny, bro? Laughing my ass off.
Well, I guess that actually conforms that this dude has posted child pornography, and in fact that this dude has actually surrendered after posting that shit, and I wished I have that with me, but I lost the screenshot of it. But I have more screenshots of him pussying out after he got caught for his other actions that we will later get on with the video. And the other thing, that he spammed a pedophilic incest porn of Sonic fucking his younger self, aka classic Sonic, even though this isn't really CP at all, but it's still fucked up as you can tell it's incest and pedophilia at the same time, and he admitted it to doing so by raiding some shit because of one of his enemies, Darkify, who provided me screenshots of this cunt's actions. And now let's talk about this dude drawing porn of another minor sucking him off named Tyson. So what I've known so far, that someone told me that people were joking about Tyson and Brent together, but I'm not sure if I'm correct on remembering that on how that happened. And Brent was also being not nice at all to Tyson and attempts to raid his server. Tyson also made a video on him himself. And yet Brent still disrespects Tyson to this day, and I'm not surprised at all that he was proud of himself drawing that shit in this deleted message from his. And for his brainless 9-year-old supporters watching this video, do you really think his guy is even changed by any means? I seriously heavily doubt that shit at all. You shouldn't even be supporting this guy at all as we take a look at other actions he's done in the past and present. And if you search up Brent the Ink Demon Exposed, there is going to be a handful videos of this cunt being himself an embodiment of a living parasite. And speaking about his second part that he included in the video, which he attempts to call out people for being racist when he's openly racist himself, let's also talk about his hypocritical actions next. Now speaking with his hypocrisy of others, he attempts to call out people for being racists as what I've said before earlier, but if we try pulling up screenshots of this cunt saying the N-word countless times, and being openly racists to blacks as well, let's go over a compilation of him doing so. So far, all of those countless screenshots of him actually saying the hard R multiple times confirms that he is a racist, and he also admits that he isn't black, and again he mentions that he's quote unquote mixed, then changes his mind again. And yet again he disrespects the black people, and he admits that he posts shit about the KKK. Imagine how openly racist this guy actually is. And moving on to where he attempts to call people out for doxxing him, and he literally cries shit about it. One time he actually got called out for doxxing a 7-year-old gadgetard, and he got hated by everyone in his own community, so much so he threatens to kill them. And this other time he tried to dox the gacha kid he backstabbed before. Here are the screenshots of it. And this time he tried to claim that IP he had was mine, and when I searched up that IP address, it literally says that it's from Ohio and I don't even live there, and also someone else sent that fake IP address, and I can't believe it, that he actually thinks it's real. Also, he deserved to be doxxed, since he attempts to do this shit on multiple people many times before, and he gets instant karma for that. Doesn't that sound hypocritical when he tried to dox people before?
See some random villains in all this. That's because this is my fucking actual IP address. So,
other than doxxing and being racist at the same time, he even stalked my Twitter account before and ironically followed me on Twitter even though he hates me. He claims that I quote unquote simp for him and his boyfriend on Twitter when he literally started this shit himself on Twitter and acted like he's obsessed with me and he's like possibly milking me off for attention for his effortless shitty content even though I was away from this guy and headed back to a normal life. Then he later blocks me afterwards. Then he unblocks me. What's the point on this guy in the first place? You hate someone so much that ironically you began stalking the shit out of them and became obsessed with them at the same time. That's exactly what is he in a nutshell. And looking at this pinned comment he made on his other shitty video on me is that I can't stop quote unquote simping on him and his boyfriend, and they were on a gay relationship, plus said that I accused him for stalking his Twitter account. That's not how me quote unquote simping on you works, and literally you did stalk my Twitter account and there is already proof of that, so there is no need for you to cry about it and stop trying to play the victim. And yet he claims that I'm the news network channel just because the channel made memes of Brent, but they literally have no proof at all of me actually owning the account. Plus I never even made the channel itself nor uploaded all of its videos other than Brent being memed to death. So in conclusion, I do not ever own that news network channel who they were beginning to upload memes of Brent nor any history about this channel. Plus I don't even know about the other videos that the channel has posted other than Brent's face being memed. So after all, the case has been closed. Honestly, this dude is such a dumbass at accusing others of being my quote unquote alts without any evidence to prove that is me at all. Finally, before that, he even relies on me about his boyfriend Greenbit being good friends with somebody who falsely accused me of harassing them for the things they like and said I've spreaded quote unquote rumors on somebody. That has to be the most hilarious fake bullshit I've ever seen in my entire life ever, because I can easily debunk that since I did saw a screenshot of Greenbit's friend saying that I've harassed him for the things he likes, but he literally had no proof of me doing that shit at all in a group chat. But sadly Greenshit kicked me out of that group chat where it contained the screenshot. Plus I never did harass him for his own likings, like why would I? Plus indeed that shit started it all when the Godzilla vs Saitama debate was true, and indeed Greenbit's friend Chris acted like he was some fucking wanker or bullshit, and I seriously doubt that Godzilla is even outer. And yet he bans me multiple times from Greenbit's server and played the victim card manipulating people. So that's everything for that bullshit, and no rumors were made. The case has been now closed. Also forgot to put screenshots of him begging to not get exposed for saying out the hard R multiple times before during when his old channel that got abandoned since he got caught by his own parents since his brother was doing shit on his device, and this is literally him begging to not get exposed just before his old channel was about to reach 300 subscribers. This proves how much of a pussy he is just because it's all personal life issues. Like who fucking cares? And yet, Brent literally apologized for doxxing before back in July of this year, and again 1 month later in August, he decided to do the same shit to his own colleagues again. He's so much of a fucking lying hypocrite, just like how I've showed the recent screenshots of him still doxxing people before. He is never trustable to begin with. So if Brent was actually being honest with his apology for his own shit, he wouldn't have still done that shit again and none of this would have happened. And this dumb false accusation from him is that I've harassed one of his friends online. Wait a minute, like what the fuck? How did I even went after your friends as well in the first place? Just because I got into an argument with them posting toy videos? What are you guys even on? That doesn't mean I'm going after them, just because I was arguing with them. This dude is actually so crazy as hell.
This cat has done throughout his whole channel career. Obviously stealing trailers from literally everyone.
So basically by your logic, you are calling him out for stealing somebody's own artwork. Well, take a look at this shit you've done to steal someone else's work, especially that's from your goon who you've backstabbed before. Because you literally lack whole ass artist skills and you rely on making poorly art that looks like it's been drawn out of Microsoft Paint. And for these other shit that he claims that the evidence I've shown to him about manipulating his own audience were quote unquote fake. He literally can't even elaborate furthermore into why these screenshots of him admitting that he manipulates his own 9-year-old audience were fake. He literally can't even debunk that shit. And that's the time now we talk about his skills at manipulation. So now talking about him manipulating people, he's very dangerous at manipulating people, just like he has the powers of the Mind Stone. He always does this to minorities such as his 9-year-old fan base and other very young people who are gullible enough to fall for his tricks. And it's disgusting to see his deformed army of children with special needs who stick up for somebody who posts child porn and makes very hypocritical statements. Brent was able to get me fairness snapped away from these such servers of his friends and the people he manipulated. One time he manipulated a mentally disabled kid who was diagnosed with autism and turned him into a fucking keyboard warrior who stood up for his actions no matter what. What that autistic kid says about sticking up for Brent makes me lose a lot of brain cells. What this cunt has said. First he manipulates people in general, now he's taking advantage of a child with a disability. How to stick up for such people like as himself Brent. This shows how much of a fucking mastermind at manipulation he is. It's like seeing Thanos with the mind gem controlling countless lives to do his own bidding. That's exactly how Brent is in a nutshell. And what you're seeing here is him actually admitting it to manipulating people, and we got more evidence of this guy actually doing so. And here's this fresh comment from the man himself Brent, and literally a video made by one of his boyfriends before who he used to hate. Let's take a look at this video. And that basically conforms that Brent admits to manipulating his own followers of 9-year-old kids with special needs. And unironically he even sabots too, and legit saboting is against YouTube's terms of service. Your channel could have been axed down if you actually do that. And it's ironically that this dude even laughs at people having lower subs than Brent's whole ass amount of saboted subscribers he has. That's like if I used 1k sabots on my channel and I just laughed at someone for having 50 subscribers who is like 950 subscribers less than me. That's how pathetic this guy is at insulting his own foes. And so talking more about this guy trying to debunk the screenshots of himself admitting that he manipulates people are so pathetic as hell. Just like what I've said before, this dude literally couldn't even elaborate further as to why these real screenshots of himself admitting that he manipulates people are quote unquote fake. He never even responds to these allegations and tries to debunk them at all, and just does his typical shitty response at me with his mind's working in a core being all clogged up in all dust and rust that its gears that used to power his brain stopped working. And yet he never even tried debunking his own other allegations of him doing illegal activity too. When I showed the video of the screenshots of what this cunt's been doing, he literally stopped responding and went silent, and never again responded to me with a single word. And his comment on my response video on Brent's shitty exposing video, he just says that Godzilla is fucking outer and nothing else. He never said a word about the other parts I've mentioned in the video, and provided no evidence to us how Godzilla was even outer. This is literally the beauty of the debating community in a nutshell, where fucking wankers exist. Also about this part, where I've shown a screenshot of his now deleted comment on Pengi's video about him admitting that he's going to manipulate his own viewers quote unquote. Never happened. Of course his dad's existence never happened in the first place. This is the latest screenshot of this guy I've had with the same matching YouTube profile picture I have with me, and when I clicked on that user's profile, it takes me to Brent's official main channel. So when I tried to revisit Pengi's video for Brent's comment, it vanished without a trace. Presumably this guy doesn't want to get exposed more, and tried to cover up his own evidence. How pathetic he actually is. And these are more screenshots of him playing the victim card and manipulating people about it, when he's literally made more of his shitty videos on me than I did compared to him. And taking a look at his comment crying about the shit he literally deserved is here, and let's read it here and debunk his crying ass.
This MF keeps on making rents on the 24/7.
Excuse me sir, but how did I made countless rants on you which I only just made one response video, when you literally made more countless shitpost videos about me? At this point, you're just playing more as the victim card enough in order for your very childish audience to believe the lies what you are saying. And for the second part you said in your comment, just because it's all in the past, that doesn't mean your actions are already excused, and you quote unquote learned from the experience, because that's just another fucking lie you made, because you're still doing that type of shit even though you already realized it was wrong what you've made, and still you decided to continue that at this point. So you are obviously not changed from it because you did it again, after you quote unquote apologized about it, and just stop crying about your ass being doxxed, because you literally tried doxxing other people, so shit it yourself.
I'm sorry for what I put you all through. I'm sorry. I should know better.
That has to be the most childish apology video ever. That's just like Logan Paul's apology video for what he did in that forest. But at least Logan Paul never done it again and fully acknowledged about it. While for Brent he did the same shit again as what he said in his description of his video. If Brent was being honest about his apology, none of that shit which he did after he posted that apology video would have happened.
He makes rents on Greenwood all because of a stupid debate back in March. Like Greenwood is a year younger than Greenwood and he acts more mature than Phantom. Shall I? He seen younger people like Slender's and some and act more mature than Phantoms. All I'm trying to say is Phantoms is a bozo who needs to get a life instead of staying on Discord and causing drama.
And what the fuck is going on here in the comment section? Now he's falsely accusing me of having alt which mass pinged him on YouTube, just because that news network channel made memes about Brent. He even says I made over 600 videos about him. Like what the hell? I only did like 3 videos on him, and 1 video about his brainless supporters. The 3 were a message to him, a response video and a video about his screenshots, and that's all. Do I have to debunk the rumors about me being the news network channel? I don't even fucking remember posting those types of weird ass videos that the news network channel has posted way before the Brent memes came in hand from them. And the channel was also mentioning other people too, presumably their victims, but I do not know anything about them. And why would I post similar content to they were doing other than the Brent memes? This has to be the worst accusation I've ever heard in my entire life. When I usually go away from somebody I had a conflict with and hate, I usually move on and try to forget about them, but unfortunately for Brent, He decided to witch hunt my channel and stalked my Twitter page as what I've mentioned before, and he even makes false accusations of me just so he can rely on getting more attention from his victims and presumably milk them off for his shitty content. And that's all what I've debunked about this dude so far, me being the news network channel, harassing Chris for his own likings, and going after his other friends were already debunked, and they were never true by any means. And I wonder how terrible his next shitty ranting video on me is going to go, since he literally cannot debunk the shit he has done in the past. But let's say, if he did, it would be no doubt the worst ever quote unquote exposing video on this guy ever. So I'm just going to do a little prediction is that he would try to accuse me of being that news network channel, just because they made memes of Brent with literally no evidence to prove at all that I'm them. He's just harassing a dude and makes false accusations that they are my quote unquote alts. So just before the video is going to end, because it's going to be like 30 minutes long on this guy, let's talk about his supporters a bit.
도야, 楽しんどるが最高のプレイやろ。何もかも忘れてたっぷり甘えてんじゃ。
進むちゃん、勝手に外したらダメでちゅよ。
So now talking about his supporters a bit, they're all mindless, gullible 9-year-old kids who make the worst ever statements at defending Brent. So let's talk about a bit from them and their common statements at defending Brent. It's all in the past and that he quote unquote changed. Do I have repeat to debunk that bullshit again? He was never changed nor learned anything from the past and still does this same shit to this day. And taking a look at these recent screenshots after he's presumably quote unquote changed, just because it's months old doesn't mean you don't need to be held responsible for what you've done. It's 2022 of this year at this time of posting this video, and the recent screenshots of this guy being a cunt are still fresh to this day to take a look at, and he don't even seem like a person who changed from his old self at all. He's just still being a fucking degenerate. That's just another shitty lie and excuse his brainless supporters are making up, and they're using it to let go of his accountability even though he lied about apologizing it. Just look at the screenshots of the shitty 9-year-old kid supporting this hypocritical manipulative cunt and just try not to lose brain cells after looking at these cringe comments. That's just so pathetic coming from them, and they stand up for such people like Brent himself. Just imagine if they support some dude like Maximilian Mus. That's going to be them in a nutshell. So to all of those mindless 9-year-old kids standing up for this guy, please just stop using the same ass excuses and false accusations you got from your leader, because they are already debunked and were proven to be fake, so there is no point of using it. Imagine standing up for somebody who lied about themselves being changed from the past and continue to do their bullshit. Presumably you 9-year-olds won't get any bitches in the near future. So now time for the conclusion. After going through a long video about this guy, I might need to say that Brent is a hypocritical, whose he is also racist and doxxes other people too, manipulative kid, who has drawn porn of himself giving somebody a blowjob and posts Rule 34 of a child having sex with a robot, who plays the victim card and pretends to act innocent to make people feel bad for what he deserved in reality, falsely accuses people of being alts with no proof at all, and makes false accusations of somebody making rumors, which hunts his own foes and milks them off for attention to make his effortless shitty dumpster fire of content. He claims to hate his own foes when he was obsessed with them at one point, and that is obvious that Brent is always out there going out for blood, always thriving off for attention and shit, just like one of those attention seeking bastards, and himself has an army of brainwashed kids with special needs standing up for a degenerate person like him. The evidence is all already there about him, and he has never tried debunking them, nor elaborating further as to why they are fake. And if he ever tries making his own shitty response video on me, no matter how many brain cells I'm going to lose, I'd rather eat Tide Pods than listening to what this guy has been saying, because there is no doubt that the fact he's starting to milk people off for attention and uploads more countless videos about his own foes such as myself. He's like a vampire being thirsty out for drinking blood as to it being as the attention he gets from his own victims. Also forgot to add, I can just imagine Brent and his army trying to mass report this video that has been speaking facts about him, just to take it down for slander on him or some shit, but that's going to be the most pathetic reason ever to do so. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and has finally acknowledged about Brent, because he does not like having his own friends around, and please do not support this guy's actions, because he's always out there looking for attention and plays the victim card and lies to his own viewers and followers, and he is the embodiment of making drama himself. Thank you guys, and stay safe, and make sure to not support people like himself. Ciao.